welcome to Story Time. Today we're going to talk about a little animal. Do you know what this animal is? This book looks like that animal. It's an owl, and the title of this book is Little Owl. Little Owl is born. Mom has found a hole in a tree and built a nest there. She sat on her eggs for about 1 month. Little Owl looked like a soft ball of gray feathers when he hatched from his egg. Mom watches over him while he explores the nest with his dark brown eyes. After about 3 weeks, Little Owl leaves the nest and hides among the branches while his mom protects him. Little Owl is fed by both parents until he was 2 or 3 months old. What a great day! Little Owl is 40 days old and ready to fly. Under his mom's watchful eye, he opens his wings. He's flying and hunting for food. Owls like to eat worms, bugs, rodents, and insects. It's nighttime, but young Owl has incredible night vision and excellent hearing to help him fly in the dark. It has been a great day. Little Owl flew for the first time. His mom is very proud of him. She watches her little one as he falls asleep. Owls sleep in the daytime. Little Owl is now dreaming. In his dream, he is fully grown, soaring silently through the air in the night sky. That's a nice story. So owls sleep at nighttime, or sleep during the daytime and are awake at nighttime. When do you sleep? Do you sleep during the daytime or at nighttime? Most of us sleep at nighttime and are awake during the daytime. Animals that sleep during the day and are awake at night are called nocturnal. That's a big word, isn't it? Our next book is called Owl Sees Owl. Before we read it, do you remember what this part of the book is called? It's the front of the book, right? Or the front cover of the book. What if I turn it around? What is this part of a book called? It's the back cover. Do you see something neat about the front and the back of this book? We see the front of the owl on the front of the book, and we see the back of the owl on the back of the book. That's pretty neat. And this part right here, that's called the spine. So Owl Sees Owl. Home, mama, brother, sister. Tree, nest, hop, look. Jump, flutter, flap, fly. Fall, leaves, red, yellow. Moonbeam, eyes gleam. Stars twinkle, mice scamper. Soar, glide, swoop, swoosh. Owl. Sees owl. Swoosh, swoop, glide, soar. Scamper, mice, twinkle, stars. Gleam, eyes, beam, moon. Yellow, red, leaves fall. fly, flap, flutter, jump. Look, hop, nest, tree. Sister, brother, mama, home. And this story is called a circle story because it starts at the beginning at the nest, and then he goes on a journey, but then he flies back home and he ends up back at his nest again. And the words are even opposite. So at the beginning of the story, if you read the poem, it goes one way, and then the words flip around and go the other way on his way back. So this is a pretty cool book. You can check it out at our library. So owls like to eat bugs and rodents. So rodents are things like mice. Do you like to eat those? I don't. That's not a very tasty snack, I don't think. But popcorn is a pretty tasty snack for people, don't you think? So I have popcorn kernels on the board here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 popcorn kernels. So 5 little popcorn kernels sizzling in the pot. All of a sudden, one goes pop. How many are left? If you have 5 and 1 pops, how many kernels are left? 4. 4 little kernels sizzling in the pot. All of a sudden, one goes pop. 3 kernels left. 3 little kernels sizzling in a pot. All of a sudden, one goes pop. 2 little kernels sizzling in a pot. All of a sudden, one goes pop. 1 little kernel sizzling in a pot. All of a sudden, one goes pop. And now we have 5 pieces of popcorn. Okay, our next story is Little Owl Lost by Chris Houghton. Okay. So there's a little owl sitting on the tree with its mama. Uh-oh. Bump, bump, bump. Are you okay? Asked Squirrel. I'm lost, said Little Owl. Where's my mommy? Don't worry, little friend. I'll find your mommy. What does she look like? My mommy is very big, like this, said Little Owl. Yes, yes, I know, said Squirrel. Follow me. Here she is. Here's your mommy. Is that Little Owl's mommy? No. What animal is that? It's a bear. No, no, said Little Owl. That's not my mommy. My mommy has pointy ears like this. Yes, yes, I know, said Squirrel. Follow me. Here she is. Here's your mommy. No, no, said Little Owl. That's not my mommy. My mommy has big eyes like this. Yes, yes, I know, said Squirrel. Follow me. Here she is. Here's your mommy. Is that Little Owl's mommy? No, not yet. No, said Little Owl. That's not my mommy either. Wait a minute, said Frog. I know your mommy. Follow me. Your mommy's looking everywhere for you. Is this your mommy? Yes, yes, here she is. Here's my mommy. Oh, thank you, said Mommy Owl. Why don't you come up to our nest for some cookies? Yes, please, said Squirrel. Cookies are our favorite thing. Uh-oh. Little owl's starting to fall down again. Our next book is called Oliver the Curious Owl by Chad Otis. The owl family had everything they needed in their big tree. It was very quiet and very safe, so they never ventured out far. The only question they ever asked was who? Who? But Oliver was new to the family, and he had lots of other questions. Who? What? When? Where? Why? Soon Oliver knew the answer to every question he had about being an owl. Now he wanted to learn about life outside the big tree. Who lives in those faraway woods? No one knows, Oliver. Where does the river go, Dad? Don't leave the tree, Oliver. Why can't I leave the tree, Mom? You might get lost, Oliver. Eep. Then one day he met someone else who asked lots of questions. Eep. My name? Oliver. Eep. I'm an owl. What are you? What's your name? Eep, Eep. You're a bug. Whose name is Bug? Eep. No, I like it. Oliver and Bug became best friends. No one else seemed curious about the world outside the big tree besides them. Together they could imagine who and what they might discover if they followed the river to its end. But every time Bug suggested they go exploring, Oliver decided it was safer to stay home. He was afraid they might get lost. Then one night, snap! Bug fell into the river and was quickly swept far from the big tree. Oliver didn't know what to do. He paced, he hopped, he chirped, and then he leapt from the big tree and chased after his friend. When Oliver reached the faraway woods, he was surrounded by strange new things. As he searched for Bug, he met new animals too. Hi there. Why are you upside down? Why are your ears so big? Where does the river go? Of course, he had lots of questions. What are you building? Why are you eating wood? You saw my friend float by? When? What are all those teeth for? Why do your eyes glow? A waterfall? Where? Oliver raced toward his friend as fast as he could. Bug! He swooped down and scooped up Bug just in time. They burst from the cool darkness of the woods, and it was the end of the river, and it was more incredible than they had imagined. Oliver and Bug were very far from home, but they couldn't stop now. They made new friends, tried new things, explored new places, even ate new foods. Now they were very, very far from home. Ha ha ha, eep, eep, eep. And they never had so much fun in their lives. Suddenly, the sky turned dark. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. The wind twisted and the rain fell harder. Everything looked strange and different. They were lost. Oliver began to think maybe they shouldn't have explored all day or gone so far from home. Maybe they should have stayed in their safe big tree. But then Bug had an idea. Eep! If they followed all the whos, whats, whens, wheres, and whys they had asked that day, it might lead them back to the big tree. It was strange. The big tree didn't seem quite so big now. Oliver's family had been very worried. They hugged him tight and told him to never leave home again. But that night, Oliver and Bug told their family all about the amazing world they had discovered beyond the big tree, and they said they would be very sad if they never got to see it again. So the next day, everyone followed Oliver and Bug. Who? What? When? Where? Why? They had lots of questions. And how? And there's the map of their journey. Our last story today is an old classic called Owl Moon by Jane Yolen. It was late one winter night, long past my bedtime, when Pa and I went owling. There was no wind, the trees stood still as giant statues, and the moon was so bright the sky seemed to shine. Somewhere behind us a train whistle blew, long and low, like a sad, sad song. I thought I could hear it through the woolen cap Pa had pulled down over my ears. A farm dog answered the train, then a second dog joined in. They sang out, trains and dogs, for a real long time, and when their voices faded away, it was quiet as a dream. We walked on toward the woods, Pa and I. Our feet crunched over the crisp snow, and little gray footprints followed us. Pa made a long shadow, but mine was short and round. I had to run after him every now and then to keep up, and my short round shadow bumped after me. But I never called out. If you go owling, you have to be quiet. That's what Pa always says. I had been waiting to go owling with Pa for a long, long time. We reached the line of pine trees, black and pointy against the sky, and Pa held up his hand. I stopped right where I was and waited. He looked up, as if searching the stars, as if reading a map up there. The moon made his face into a silver mask. Then he called, "Hoo, hoo, 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 hoo," the sound of a great horned owl. "Hoo, hoo, 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 hoo." Again he called out, and then again. After each call, he was silent, and for a moment we both listened. But there was no answer. Pa shrugged, and I shrugged. I was not disappointed. My brothers all said, sometimes there is an owl, and sometimes there isn't. We walked on. I could feel the cold as if someone's icy hand was palmed down on my back, and my nose and the tops of my cheeks felt cold and hot at the same time. But I never said a word. If you go owling, you have to be quiet and make your own heat. We went into the woods. The shadows were the blackest things I had ever seen. They stained the white snow. My mouth felt furry, for the scarf over it was wet and warm. I didn't ask what kinds of things hide behind the black trees in the middle of the night. When you go owling, you have to be brave. Then we came to a clearing in the dark woods. The moon was high above us. It seemed to fit exactly over the center of the clearing, and the snow below it was whiter than the milk in a cereal bowl. I sighed, and Pa held up his hand at the sound. I put my mittens over the scarf over my mouth and listened hard, and Pa called, "Hoo, hoo, 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 hoo. Hoo, 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 hoo." I listened and looked so hard my ears hurt and my eyes got cloudy with the cold. Pa raised his face to call out again, but before he could open his mouth, an echo came treading its way through the woods. Hoo, 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 hoo. Pa smiled and then called back, "Hoo, hoo, 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 hoo," just as if he and the owl were talking about supper or about the woods or the moon or the cold. I took my mitten off the scarf off my mouth, and I almost smiled too. The owl's calls came closer from high up in the trees on the edge of the meadow. Nothing in the meadow moved. All of a sudden, an owl shadow, part of a big tree shadow, lifted off and flew right over us. We watched silently with heat in our mouths and the heat of all the words we had not spoken. The shadow hooted again. Pa turned on his big flashlight and caught the owl just as it was landing on a branch. For a minute, 3 minutes, maybe even 100 minutes, we stared at each other. Then the owl pumped its great wings and lifted off the branch like a shadow without a sound. It flew back into the forest. "Time to go home," Pa said to me. I knew then I could talk. I could even laugh out loud, but I was a shadow as we walked home. When you go owling, you don't need words or warm or anything but hope. That's what Pa says, the kind of hope that flies on silent wings under a shining owl moon. Well, that's the end of story time for today. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you again next time. Bye.